We are live from Los Angeles. Hello, America. I'm Wallace Peoples, and this is Mondays with Wallace. We will take your calls today at 424-227-9461. We are live on Facebook and YouTube and SoundCloud under Mondays with Wallace. This is Mondays with Wallace. We welcome you wherever you are, whenever you are joining us. We talk every Mondays about cannabis. We talk everything cannabis, cannabis this, cannabis that. And we have our studio guest today is Stephen Cotton.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Stephen Cotton from SE Edibles. Stephen, we're going to talk about a bit of a taboo subject. And in a way, I feel bad chatting about this because this is just easy pickings. There's always what you would call the low-hanging fruit. Mm-hmm. And the low-hanging fruit in our production is something that's just too easy to talk about. And with cannabis, there's always tough things to talk about, but this is too easy. And my subject is cannabis and sex. Mm-hmm. Sex is just really reels them in. When you say sex, everyone stops what they're doing, and it's easy to get attention. When you
sex sells, man. This is America. Sex sells.
Well, that's it. That's it. When you look at the Trump administration, the reason you watch CNN every day is because he's enthralled in sex. And
absolutely.
I'm amazed that Donald Trump had said that he was having a relationship with a young lady, and this guy was in his 70s, and he's meeting with her once a day. And that's just incredible to me.
Still getting it in, man. He's smoking some cannabis before he gets it in.
Well, Donald Trump claims that he never smokes cannabis. Claims he doesn't drink. Do you know who Priapus is?
No.
Priapus? Well, I'm going to tell you a story. I love Greek mythology. Mm-hmm. I love Greek mythology. And Priapus is a Greek god. Priapus is a Greek god that took liberties with one of, are you familiar with Zeus and the Greek gods? And mm-hmm. I was watching Wonder Woman the other day. And Wonder Woman, have you seen the movie Wonder Woman?
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they made references to Zeus. Zeus was the king of all gods, mm-hmm. right? So what happened is Priap, he took liberties with one of Zeus's women. And when I say he took liberties, he raped one of Zeus's women. So as punishment, Priap was, I think it's Priapus. Priapus, forgive me. Priapus was thrust onto earth, and as revenge, Zeus gave Priapus a wooden appendage, a wooden penis. Mm. So that's
the story for his punishment.
That was his punishment. Uh-huh. Priap's punishment was a wooden penis. And to this day, if you ever have an erection that doesn't go away, it's called
a wood.
No, it's called priapism.
Priapism.
It's called priapism, and that's what priapism is. So if you ever present
the pharmacy term is priapism.
Well, that's the medical terms. Medical terms is priapism.
Never knew that.
That is. It's very interesting.
So people that take Viagra and it never goes away, they come into the hospital and they're diagnosed with priapism.
It actually happens. In fact, what typically will happen is people will actually inject into their appendage, into the male appendage. They'll actually inject things like cocaine, stimulants to maintain an erection. It's been years. I mean, priapism has been something that, in a lot of ways, it's a desirable thing to have an erection, as erections are really, a sign of your manhood. Mm-hmm. But you can actually, someone that injects heroin into their appendage, which has happened, their appendage can actually get infected, and their appendage can actually rot away.
Oh, no.
It actually does happen. So for thousands of years...
Stick to the cannabis, man. Don't do the other stuff.
Well, that's Viagra and those things. They are used to create an erection, of course. For thousands of years, humans have used cannabis to spice up their sex lives. Mm-hmm. in ancient India, for example, practitioners thought that the increased libido produced a longer lasting erections, and cannabis is thought to have delayed ejaculation. But what does that tell us about the truth? I mean, do you have opinion about?
Yeah, my opinion on it is it makes you relax. It calms you down. A lot of times when you're getting ready to have sex with somebody, you're a little uptight, you're a little worried, you're a little nervous. She may be a little nervous. Relaxes you, puts you in a good mood, starts the night off right.
Well, THC, it has a cannabinoid receptor, and the cannabinoid receptor, it does relax you or make you. Now, is that a good thing? Because I would be anxious about.
You don't want to be too anxious, with a woman. Man. You can't be too anxious. You got to take your time.
Yeah. So, we've had long conversations about cannabis and different types of cannabis. There is what are the different types? And forgive me.
There's indica, sativa, and hybrid is a mix of both.
And we have, you all know we have our Los Angeles, our LA Flight 420 strain that we're working with, and we're
definitely
doing some
indica.
of the. Where are we at with that? We're trying to make sure that is we're making that available. It's not available yet.
It's not available. We're currently testing the product. We have it under research right now. We want to get the potency so that we can do the packaging on the product. Right now, as of July 1st, we can't just take any weed strain and start selling it to dispensaries. We have to get it tested, and once it meets all the regulations, say that there's no harmful chemicals in there, then you'll see it possibly on shelves.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's only hopeful. I was in a pharmacy earlier today, and I saw where they're actually selling the CBD oils.
Absolutely. CBD is a lot easier to get on the shelves, too. That's a great topic we can talk about. I went in a tobacco store the other day, and they have all type of CBD products. They have gummies, they have edibles, they have creams in there, and they have a bunch of CBD vapes. We sell a lot of weed vape pens, and they have all these CBDs, and you can find these in the tobacco stores now.
So is that legal for a pharmacy to sell a CBD oil?
Yeah, because that's the healing part of the plant. If you look at the CBD aspect of marijuana, that's the part that's physically able to treat patients. Some research says that the CBD is what heals people. THC is the part of the plant that gets you high. If you break down the plant, you got THC and you got CBD. Mm-hmm. CBD, it gives you a lot of healing aspects. I use CBD for my pain. Mm-hmm. I have a neck injury right now, and I rub CBD cream on my neck, and I'm finding it to be helpful. I'm using it more and more. Mm-hmm. I'd rather use the CBD than get hooked on the strong pain pills.
The THC, which is the tetrahydrocannabinoid, that is what gives us the mind aspect, the buzz.
That's what we call a buzz. You're high.
And the THC, that is what would affect sex.
Healing.
Would that affect? And we're talking about sex. Would that affect your sex drive?
I think CBD would help with your sex drive. I don't think it would hurt. There's so many healing aspects to CBD that the research needs to be done on how it affects you with sex. Mm-hmm. I think we need to come out with a few products, you and I, with CBD that enhance your sex life. Mm-hmm.
Well, 70% of people that use cannabis, they say it actually enhances the pleasure and the satisfaction of smoking. Or actually of sex, in fact. So I'm personally not sold on that. And the reason I never really get high, I don't smoke. And all my listeners know that I don't smoke. But for me, sex is great for me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if...
But you've never had it high before. Right. You've had it, so you don't know what you're missing. That's why you got to try something. When you go to a restaurant, your wife tells you to try a dish, you got to try everything. Mm-hmm. So one time, you and your wife, I say you guys get high one time and then see where the sex goes. Might become addicted, and you might want to get high every time you have sex.
Well, I'm sure that won't happen for me, but I'm certainly interested. Have you heard of the what do you call it?
What if your wife is getting high and you don't even know she's getting high before you guys have sex?
Well,
she may be keeping it from you. She may go in the bathroom. She may take a little vape pen. She may have a little CBD rub. You may even know. Girls are experiencing stuff. It's 2018. That's why I don't want the guys to fall behind, man. It's 2018. The girls are trying this stuff. We got to try it too. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. You need to experience it one time.
Have you heard of the Mile High Club?
The Mile High Club? No, I haven't.
I have these guests on that just are not knowledgeable about things. The Mile High Club is for people that actually have sex in airplanes in the bathroom or what have you.
Yeah, that's
and
too
it's
much.
called it's quite common. I mean, it's called the Mile High Club. And if you've ever had
You're
sex,
trying to
in
go
air-
to jail. It just sounds like you're
well,
trying to go to
it's
jail.
true. I mean, in
You're
fact,
trying to get freaky on the plane. You're just trying to go to jail. It's just not the right place
it
for
happened
that.
just recently.
Indecent exposure.
You're absolutely right. You're
Trying to go to jail.
absolutely right. But it's quite common, and it's called the Mile High Club.
Man, too high, man.
I'm
That's
going to
too high
imagine
right
you're not
there.
in the Mile High Club.
I'm not in the Mile High Club.
not in
That's
the
too
Mile
high,
High Club.
man.
Yeah. You're in the Mile High Club. So my producer is in the Mile. But
We have
a
a guest in house. He's from the Mile High Club.
I think if you're in the Mile
Some
High
people get
Club,
off on that stuff.
no,
man.
it's a rite of passage. Really, things are so different now. And you know what's really remarkable about our society is wanting to persecute, and they're wanting to criminalize a lot of acts that we've done for years. Even if you look at nowadays, everyone's talking about. I guess there was a lady who said something racist or something, and it's all over CNN. And what's the? Do you watch CNN? Do you watch much CNN?
I do. I need to watch more.
There's an issue of someone that said
My
something.
mom is like CNN.
Something
She calls
bad
me
or
with the news all the
you know,
time.
there's always weird people that are calling the police on you for playing football. There's always people that are going to do oddball things. I mean, the reason that we have a population of oddballs is because we're all a bunch of oddballs. And I think when we're highlighting these although there's some really bad things that are happening, when you look at a lot of the stuff that's happening in our society relative to our immigration, I think that's just horrible. So we've had on our show Manuel Gray. Manuel Gray is an entertainer, and Manuel he actually works with Tina Turner. You familiar with Tina Turner?
Absolutely.
Tina Turner is just amazing entertainer, and I can Tina Turner. Manuel Gray, he was the guitarist, percussionist for Tina Turner, and a really good friend of his is Craig Turner. Craig Turner just unfortunately committed suicide, which is just absolutely tragic. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit. We had mentioned when you actually get high and you have sex, that kind of makes me think about roofies. Are you familiar with roofies?
Roofies is the date rape drug, correct?
Date rape drug.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Is there an argument that maybe marijuana is a date rape drug?
Wow, that's a touchy subject. I don't think it is. No,
Well,
not at all.
I can assure you.
I don't know what the roofie does, but I know the roofie is supposed to put a woman in an uncomfortable position so you can take advantage of her.
I don't think it's an
Weed is not
uncomfortable-
like that.
I don't think it's an uncomfortable situation, but if you were to give, because I know my wife, and actually, who knows? Maybe I don't know my wife, but but if you gave my wife, even a half a beer, my wife her tolerance level is so low. I can't imagine. I can only imagine if we smoked weed or you gave my wife some weed or cookie, I would. Yeah, I could just do whatever I wanted to, and I think roofies is kind of the same thing, which is roofies is Rohypnol, which was introduced in the 70s as a it's like 10 times more potent than diazepam or Valium.
When you smoke weed, you're not out of control like that. You're not unconscious like that. You're still functional. You can still think. You can still say yes or no when you smoke a little bit of weed. It doesn't put you to an unconscious state.
Is Manuel Gray with us?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Manuel, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good. Thanks for being with us.
Good afternoon.
You are
You're
on
welcome.
Mondays with Wallace, and as you know, I am Wallace. We're live from Los Angeles. We're
Yeah.
talking about marijuana, and we're also mentioning the date rape drug, roofies. Have you ever?
Oh, what a!
Are you familiar with roofies?
I've heard about it actually, but I'm not familiar with it as far as the usage or anything of the sort.
Manuel is an entertainer, and you've actually Tell us a little bit about you, if you don't mind.
Basically, I'm Ike and Tina Turner's lead guitar player, and I played with Shaka Khan, and I played with Cheryl Lynn, and I played with Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I played with Philip Bailey, actually. Yeah.
I saw Philip Bailey in Earth, Wind, and Fire just about maybe a year ago. Those guys that are pros, they really, really, really put on a show. And boy, I was so thankful to see their show.
Yeah, big time. It's just like the bass player for Earth, Wind, and Fire. I don't know. I don't know. He got a certain thing where I wasn't. When he came to see us at the Strand, when he came and see me and Ike at the Strand.
Is this Philip Bailey?
Turner, no. I can't even remember his name right now.
Okay.
The bass player for Earth, Wind, and Fire. He just kind of didn't like me, because we were in the bathroom and he said, "So you guys about to hit right now, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And I didn't give him the proper, attention. And, he just, ignored me, but that's okay,
Well, when you say you're about to hit, I don't quite know what that means. What does that mean?
When you're about to hit, that means you're about to get on stage and play.
I see. Yeah. So you're about to get on stage and play.
The terminology you're about to hit, that means you're about to get up there and do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have time to think about him, because if I'm lead guitar player for Ike Turner, and if I would have made one mistake, Ike would have been really very mad at me.
Ike, I understood, had a really bad temper. Was Ike someone that smoked marijuana?
No. Ike Turner did powdered cocaine.
He did that hard stuff.
Yeah.
Weed don't make you act like that, man.
No. But
weed makes you chill out, make you want to go relax and go chill, man. Don't make you want to fight nobody.
No, but me and Ike never had a confirmation or anything of the sort of getting into any argument. I mean, he made me lead guitar player and band director. So it was like he trusted in me,
Ike and Tina had a lot of conflict in their life. Were you able to observe any of that, or was it hard looking at that?
Yeah, me and Ronnie were in the living room, and Ike and Tina were in the studio, and we saw him, knock the holy snot out of her.
Out of Tina Turner?
Yeah, and so me and Ronnie, we ran into the backyard. We were scared to death.
Well, can I ask you how old you were at the time? Didn't you? Do you feel that it maybe would have been appropriate to have helped her?
It was impossible because they were in a glass studio, and we just saw it.
Mm-hmm. What would make
we ran in the backyard, because we were afraid that he was going to hurt us.
I see.
Yeah, he went really off. He went on one.
Was he a perfectionist? Was Ike someone that?
Oh, big time. Yeah, because he was telling Tina, you better get this song right. It's called Nutbush City Limit. Mm-hmm. And she wasn't getting it right, and she wasn't singing it like she meant it. And that's when he socked her in the face. And I'm like, man, Ronnie, I can't go out the front door because he's going to catch me. So I'm just going to go in the backyard and sit down. And this is the God's truth, what I'm telling you guys. This is really something that really happened.
Mm-hmm. I don't doubt it. Well, that's really unfortunate. Manuel, I know you're still fairly close to the family, and
yes, I am. I just couldn't make it to Craig's funeral.
Yeah, unfortunately, Craig Turner committed suicide this month.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he shot himself in the head and killed his dog. You know,
I'm
he wanted
sorry.
his dog to go with him. Yeah,
He,
yeah, he
he-
wanted Chewie to go with him, and he wrung Chewie's neck. You know.
really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Is that
Yeah,
true?
it's the God's truth, man. I'm not lying. You know, I'm on the radio right now. I have no reason to lie. You
No,
know, but,
I'm
yeah,
really
he
thankful for you.
wrung his dog's neck and then shot himself in the head. And the gun blasted off and went into the sink. And then he shot it into the corner. You know, I'm like, man, this is just too unbelievable. You know, and that's why, you know, right now I'm not all together, and I don't think that I'm going to make it to choir rehearsal, you know, because I just can't, you know, and it's hot, you know, out here in Moreno Valley, it's like 110, you know, and I just can't make it, man. You know,
Well,
I try to do the best
I'm sure.
I
Thanks for
can.
you. What do you feel Craig's motivation for committing suicide was? I mean, Craig. did he-
Depression and depression, and he slipped back into alcohol. You know, drinking vodka. Yeah, you know, everybody tried to say that you know he had cancer or AIDS or no. Autopsy came back. Craig was like a manic depressant.
Manuel, we don't want to disclose anything that would be unfortunate to the family.
He was a man. He was a manic depressant. You know, Craig had big time depression.
Suicide is real. If you know anybody that's suicidal, make sure you guys reach out, get them some help. Make sure you talk to somebody. Suicide is a very serious thing. I was at a funeral today. Somebody committed suicide.
Oh, is that right? You were at a funeral today?
Yeah, suicide is real. It's happening a lot in our society
no,
now.
it's
More
not
and more.
because you know, my cousin Wallace that we're talking to right now knows that I have depression. You know, and it gets really, really bad, you guys, the two of you. It gets really horrible. You know, but as far as Craig just went back into alcohol, you know, and he just got highly depressed. He didn't have any disease or anything of the sort.
Well, that's really unfortunate. Manuel, you had mentioned that you seem to be depressed. Are you in an okay place? Is there something?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay because I just joined the new church. Good. And I'm band director in the church, and I have a reason to keep on moving. You know, I have a lot of people dependent on me.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know, so that gives me the motivation and the confidence to keep on going.
Was Craig close to Tina, or?
Yeah, he was the closest. He was the closest to her.
Oh, it had to be horrible.
And she is just destroyed. She's so hurt. She's so hurt, man. I mean, I can't even tell you, man. She's destroyed right now. I mean, it's really, and I'm telling you God's truth.
Yeah, no,
she's really hurt.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. That had to really be painful. You know, we are talking
she was
about.
Like, she told me not to even come to the funeral because she said, you know, man, I know how close you guys were. And, you know, I don't think that it's appropriate, and you got a new job now and everything, and I just don't think that it's cool for you to even come. And I said, you're right, Mom. I'm not coming.
Well, that's I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. Well, so we're talking about cannabis and sex and roofies. Roofies is something that's been around. Roofies is something that's been around.
Let's get on with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, roofies is something that's been around a long time, and it's something that I think it's what Bill Cosby did. So I guess what we're asking is roofies and marijuana kind of the same? Because I don't think you do smoke a lot of weed, but if someone gave you weed right now, would you fall asleep or what would you do?
Get paranoid.
I think paranoia is a certain strain of marijuana.
That doesn't agree. That particular drug
different
does not agree
age
with
groups.
me.
They can't handle our weed nowadays. Back in the day,
I can't deal with
stress, and it was a lot milder. Nowadays, we smoke chronic and Kush, and they have a lot more additives and different strains. People back in the day, they can't handle it. It makes them paranoid. They can't handle our weed today.
So weed today is fairly strong.
I would say so too.
It's bad enough that I have been affiliated with PCP. So, weed is just not a factor in my life. It's not.
Now I'm gonna have to apologize,
going to
and I'm gonna have to be
Allentown,
embarrassed for a minute. PCP is phencyclamine. What is PCP? Is that a stimulant?
It's a tranquilizer. It's like really basically it's embalming fluid.
PCP is embalming is.
Yeah. Now we're getting on to something right now because that's what it is. Yeah.
PCP. So when you do PCP, tell me, how does it make you feel? And I
Makes
gotta
me
tell you,
feel cool.
I gotta think that I have to feel that marijuana is probably a better option than PCP.
Not for me. PCP makes me feel groovy.
Wow.
I dig it. Yeah, but it ain't for everybody. George Clinton and Parliament and Funkadelic and Bootsy Collins, we all used to do it. So, and Shaka Khan too, and
different drugs for different times. Back in the day, they liked certain drugs, and now we're in a smoker's age right now. We're in a stoner's age.
I'm so glad I'm talking to you guys.
He was with the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. Oh no. These guys
I'm glad I'm talking to you guys, man, because that's what it was. Back in my time, rehearsing and practicing and
so
and all of that.
How would you do PCP? Okay, so.
Well, first of all, it started with Angel Dust, and it was on sprinkled. The chemical was on mint leaves, and I used to just roll it up in a zigzag, like a pinner. I would just like lace it, just pour a little bit in a zigzag, and it would come out of aluminum foil, and then we would preserve it and put it in the refrigerator, to keep it potent. Yeah.
So you would keep it potent, and this is, by the way, PCP, which is phencyclidine, and it is angel dust. So why is it called angel dust? And I got to tell you, I'm thinking that marijuana was a better option here, Manuel. Sorry.
Not for me. I started on marijuana, okay, and then your cousin Kenneth had Kona Gold and hash and stuff. But it just didn't work for me. I needed something more powerful.
Well, that goes to my argument, and I got to tell you that enforces my argument that marijuana is maybe a transitional drug. Say
it again, please.
What marijuana was maybe a what's the phrase I'm looking for?
It was a
gateway drug. Marijuana is a gateway drug.
Yeah, it was like a relaxer, actually.
So
I don't like people always blaming it on marijuana. Once you start trying drugs, man, you're trying everything.
No.
Yeah.
You can't blame it and say this is a gateway to this. Man, you're trying everything.
One thing that works for somebody may not work for the other person.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to take Trulanols and Black Mollies in the 70s. So one thing, that works for somebody may not work for the other person. I'm still alive.
Mm-hmm.
So basically,
you are still alive.
marijuana just does not work for me.
Mm-hmm. But wouldn't you say marijuana was the gateway to these other things? Because these are clearly, like PCP is clearly a drug of abuse.
Yeah.
And not only are you alive, but you look at George Clinton and Bootsy Collins, all those guys are still alive. And they're doing great. Bootsy was just.
I think whether or not they smoked weed or not, they still would have tried PCP in their life.
And you guys, I'm still alive and in good condition. And there's nothing. My physical came back, and there's nothing wrong with me except for exhaustion. Due to Craig's death. My God, man.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that.
Still taking a toll on me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I do thank you for coming on the show.
Make sure you talk to somebody, man. Don't fall into a funk. When people lose somebody, it's always good to go and talk to somebody.
Amen. That's why I'm talking to my cousin Wallace.
We're glad you called in today.
Yeah, we're thankful to have you on our show. Do you still do PCP?
No. That's out of the questionnaire. No. I've been sober off of it for a year and a half.
So if you were to want to relax, what would you do? If you
take a narco.
Narco. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh,
That's another gateway drug. Narco is for pain. That's specifically for
Yeah, I
pain.
know, but it relaxes me. You know, it relaxes me.
Well, that's not. You know, when you look at pharmacists, that's not what pharmacists are trying to do. Do you know?
let's try some weed. It's a little less addictive.
I don't like weed. I
don't like
don't
it,
like the smell of it. I don't like nothing going in my lungs.
No.
I don't like smoke coming in and out of me. That's not what the lungs are for. It's for the breathe.
I think some edibles we
not
have
to,
could relax you so that you
blow
don't have to
nothing
take
out.
such a strong painkiller. I think we have some edibles
Yeah,
that can relax you.
Most of our, and I know Stephen Cotton from SC Edibles, he's a big fan, and a lot of people are big fan of using marijuana to relax you,
Yeah,
as opposed
for sure.
to a Norco. Or Norco is hydrocodone with acetaminophen.
I
Norco,
know it, but
Norco
I'm
typically
like-
is
I'm
5
a-
and
I'm a
10 milligrams.
you know, honestly, I'm a drug addict, man. So
Oh,
you know,
don't.
we
no.
we don't cut the mustard. You know what I'm saying? But I do not take it all the time. You know, I really take it for the pain right now. You know, because I got hit on my bicycle. You know, and I really got hurt bad, and I'm bruised all over. If you guys saw me right now, you wouldn't even believe I'm alive.
We have a
You
doctor
know.
with SC Edibles, man. I want you to see him. I want you to try some of our edible products, and I want you to just
Okay.
compare how our edibles make you feel compared to one of those narcos. I think we can try to
Okay,
treat your pain
I'm
with some
down
edibles.
with it.
Some
I'm really
CBD
down
and
with
some
that.
edibles.
I'm down with it.
There we go.
Well,
We got a new
I'm-
patient.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I feel like, and I appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah.
I hate to hear that you're depressed, and I hate to hear that
Yeah.
things are, you know. But if you need help, we certainly want to provide help for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well,
do you feel that marijuana and sex? Because our show is sex, because that's what we started talking about. Because that's just
Well,
too
it
easy.
really goes hand in hand, to be honest with you. Marijuana and sex go hand in hand. Because I know when I smoke, when I used to smoke it, you know, I would want to have sex.
You would want to have sex?
I would want to.
Yeah, I think it does increase your sexual desires.
It does.
You don't
It
wanna
does
sit
without
around
a
and get high
shadow
and do
of
nothing. You
without
wanna
a shadow of a
Get
doubt.
high and go out and
you
see
know?
some women, man.
Yeah, and go to the club, and then your confidence is up, and you're matching.
I would
you
personally
know,
be
and-
apprehensive, because you're always anxious about getting an erection, and you're
Yeah,
always anxious
and it
about
cre-
if this girl's
yeah,
gonna
and
like
it
you.
increases your confidence, actually.
See, that's a good point. He says when you're high, you're not thinking about all those other things. You just you feel like you're the man. You feel real confident.
Right.
Feel like you
'Cause
can
when I
get
get
any
on
girl in the
stage- when I
club.
get-
Just
when-
smoke
when I
that
get
blunt
on-
and you're going to get her.
When I get on stage and I'm on that guitar, man, don't nothing bother me.
Oh,
When
is that
I,
right?
You know, when I smoke a joint, I mean, that's like, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Uh-huh.
You know, but then I could start getting, in the middle of the show, I start getting tired. And then I used to go backstage and take a couple of lines of cocaine, you know, to bring
Let me
back
ask you
up.
this. Does other
Uh-huh.
drugs like PCP and cocaine, does that increase your sexual desire? Or is that a drug that you like to have sex in? You see?
No.
Weed is one of those drugs that people all say they like to have sex when smoke weed. These other drugs, people, they don't go hand in hand. Cocaine and sex doesn't go hand in hand. PCP and sex doesn't go hand in hand. But weed and
No.
sex is like peanut butter and jelly.
Well, people have
Exactly.
it's said
Exactly.
that people have used marijuana for years and years and years and years as an aphrodisiac. Well, I've always heard things like oysters.
Ultimate, it is the ultimate high, you know, actually. You know, it really is. As far as sexual relation and, you know, confidence in yourself, marijuana is the key factor. You know, as far as I'm concerned.
That's a good way to look at it. When you get high, you got that high feeling, that euphoric feeling. And usually when you have an erection, you get a girl, you have that high feeling. So it's the ultimate high.
And you're happy, and you're
Both
happy
highs together.
and you're making her happy, and both of y'all are happy.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
okay, so
you know,
Double high.
Okay, so you this
mutual high.
is my scenario. So you have sex, and you've had sex with marijuana. You've had sex, and the girls had sex, and all of a sudden the marijuana wears off. So where are you?
I think
It's
you're
time
just
for the
ready to go to
munchies.
sleep.
After
You're
sex,
just
you
ready
eat
to
some
go to
chocolate
sleep,
and you have
right?
the munchies.
Yeah.
For some apparent reason, and it's just another situation I wanted to express to you guys. When it comes to women that do crystal meth, they don't get enough. You know,
Enough crystal meth, or they don't get enough
they
sex?
don't get enough sex. You know, they don't get enough.
And that's
You
crystal
know?
meth?
They can't. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to get them off of you. You know,
Is that right? I didn't know that.
once they get
One
started,
thing,
it's hard to make them stop.
well, clinically with
I hate to be saying that,
crystal meth,
but
which
I'm
is
in an
just a
interview
huge
with-
problem
yeah.
to society. One problem with crystal meth is that typically the people that you see do a lot of it, they tend to have dental problems where they'll lose their teeth. They also
Yeah.
have this very heated sensation where they'll want to take their clothes off. That's, it's very common. If you
Yeah.
ever have someone
Yeah.
where
It's
the
a
police will
stimulant. It's a number one stimulant.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, to me, it's like the hottest thing out right now when it comes to sex. You know,
when I'll talk to police
meth,
officers,
you know,
if you ever have a
you-
police that responds to someone in the middle of, say, a neighborhood and they've taken all their clothes off and they're running around naked, typically that's a sign that they've done crystal meth, because
PCP.
crystal meth
No,
is
that's
something that makes
PCP.
you
That's
take your clothes off, makes you hot, it makes you take your clothes off.
PCP. That PCP will make you run butt naked, man. You know, make you take your shoes off and to get your pants off, and then you put your shoes back on and run around the corner.
See, weed don't do that to you. I've never heard of nobody smoking no weed and running around ass naked.
No, I'm talking about PCP.
I ain't heard that.
Well,
talking
Manuel,
about
in all of our
PCP.
shows, you're the only person that's making me think maybe marijuana is a good option.
No, marijuana's okay. Marijuana's okay, you guys. Honest to God, I think it's one of the most pleasant drugs that anybody could encounter. You know, but I was speaking upon PCP.
Uh-huh.
You know, it will make you take your clothes off and put your shoes back on and then run home.
Man, we don't want you doing that, man.
Oh, we don't want that.
We gonna put you on
I'm
the
talking
edibles,
about-
and we gonna
No,
put you on
I'm
the
saying
edibles
that-
for a week and see how you
Not
do.
me,
All right.
you guys. Not me. I want to clarify that. You know, nationally. No, I've seen it happen to other people.
Oh,
Right.
You know, it's really crazy. And then, you know, they put their hand over their mouth and just start spitting through their hand. You know, I mean, I've seen so many weird things happen off of angel dust.
See, all
and
these other
PCP.
drugs have
Yeah.
hard effects.
You know,
Weed has
But
smaller side effects.
I dig it. And then the strongest one is Sherm. That's the strong. And then in Washington, D.C., it is just the most powerful thing, and it's an epidemic. You know, it's like you can't stop it. You know, it's making the poor, you know, have money. You know, it's really an epidemic in Washington, D.C., and they can't stop it.
And this
You
is
know,
Sherm. I have to apologize for that. I'm not
yeah.
one
They
that-
call it dippers.
What is Sherm? So Sherm is what? And I've heard people.
Sherm.
I've heard people say, "Oh, this
Like,
person's Shermed out."
You dip a Sherman cigarette in the liquid.
Embalming fluid, I believe. I think you take a
but they
cigarette and you dip it in
use-
embalming fluid.
Yeah, but they're using cigarette like a Newport now, and then they take the filter out of the back of it after it's dipped. You know, and it's just an epidemic, man.
Yeah.
In Washington, D.C., you guys look it up, man. It's an epidemic right now.
But Sherm here, they're saying, and I'm just looking online. Sherm here, they're saying it's not PCP, but they are saying you have to dip your cigarette into Sherm to smoke it. So do you actually smoke
Yeah,
it? Is it like crack?
into the water.
Is it
You know,
crack?
it's like it's just like it's like light brown liquid, you know, and then it's in a little vial, you know, and then you dip it in there, and then it runs through the cigarette, and then you light it up and take the filter out, and then you're blasted, you know. So,
And how long does this high last?
6 to 7 hours.
And you just feel euphoric, or you feel you're tired, or you're sleepy,
You just feel like everything is cool. You feel like everything is everything.
Is that right? Is that right? And this is
Really
just
like
this is just one hit, or is this how many cigarettes do you need?
It all depends. It all depends. You can hit it too much, and then that's when you start taking your clothes off and start running down the street. You know. So,
is that different than angel dust? And
No.
this is, I do appreciate all of my listeners. My listeners basically are people like myself who really just want to know. We're
wanna
just
become
just
more
curious.
informative.
We
We
just
wanna
want to be informed about.
Talk about these subjects.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
absolutely. So
And if you
I'm
need
so
help,
thankful.
seek help.
Wallace, it's your cousin talking from experience. I've seen it. It never did me that way, but I've seen it happen to girls. To where they would grab onto me and wouldn't let me go. And I'm like, I don't want to do nothing more. I thought we were just getting high. I'm not trying to do nothing like do the nasty with you. I'm not.
But do you feel that maybe they're compromised and that is indicative of the SHRM, or is it just maybe it's their personality, or maybe because you're a reasonably nice guy and
Well, it has something to do with both. You know what I'm saying? Because they already, think that I don't want them, and then we get high, and then gives them confidence, and then they want to do it.
I guess
and
I'm wondering
like,
is this a date rape proposition? And the same thing with marijuana, Stephen. Is this a date rape type thing?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
no.
I've never heard of a judge putting a man on the stand for marijuana being used as a date rape drug.
Yeah.
Never.
Amen.
Never heard of any charges like that.
Amen.
Well, what
I've
about
heard of
it?
alcohol
marijuana-
being involved in
I mean,
situations.
what do you think's
Marijuana
happening on campuses when you get these women drunk or you get them intoxicated and you have sex with them?
It's that drug that you mentioned earlier. It's that roofie thing. They slip it in their drink.
I think
That's
in one
what-
state you're
that's what-
unconscious. With roofies and other date rape drugs, you lose consciousness. The girl doesn't have any
Yeah,
consciousness.
yeah. But you know what they do? They get you at home, quick enough, and they know exactly what they're doing. And they get you before you pass out. You're in a hotel room with them, and it's on. Because then they pass out, and then they have sex with these women. Basically, while they're incoherent.
Mm-hmm. When I have sex, typically, and my wife doesn't like it, I typically pass out. So I'm sure that.
You're funny, Wallace.
No, I'm just saying. So if I could, it's the only thing I would say, honey. I was high, honey. I
dig it.
Damn it, you, honey. I was high. Honey, I was high. I was high.
Yeah. Well, it's not that particular drug, that roofie thing, man. It's just like it's 100% designed for a woman to lose consciousness, so you can have sex with them. It's nothing more, nothing less than that. It's like a man that's a loser that just doesn't have any confidence. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, I totally get that, but I think there's a real argument that maybe marijuana, if you're not a user like I'm not, and one thing that scares me is how it would make me feel. I don't know if it would make me feel a certain way, and I'm afraid. I'd be afraid to do marijuana, but
marijuana makes me nervous, man. I'm scared to even talk to a girl on it.
Is that right?
Too strong, man. You gotta use smaller stuff.
Makes me
Sativa.
paranoid.
You're using that strong stuff. Make you paranoid.
Yeah.
Smoke a nice little sativa and you'll be chill. It's gonna make you want to write some music.
I would rather have a shot of vodka, and then I'd be okay. And
would you rather a shot of vodka? Let's say you're a user, or you use, let's say illicit drugs or whatever you'd want to say, or let's say me. Would you rather have a shot of drugs, marijuana, a roofie? Would you rather have PCP, or would you rather have a Vicodin or a Norco?
I'd rather have a 211 beer and a Narco, and I'm good.
No, I don't know what 211
okay.
beer is.
I knew you was gonna pick that one, man.
211 beer? What is
Oh,
211
man.
beer?
I knew you was gonna pick that one.
Oh, okay. So again, I apologize for being just not knowledgeable, but those are my listeners. Most of our listeners. By the way,
211 is AKA liquid crack, man. We call 211
Is that
liquid crack. It's the
Yeah.
cheap malt liquor beer, man. That's what a
You
211
give me
is.
a
right?
16-ounce can of 211 and a Narco, and I'm good.
Oh,
you know?
man, you good. I bet you are.
I'm good, and I'm in control of myself.
you're in
You
control.
know,
Wait a
I'm
minute.
not losing my mind or anything of the sort.
So
But this is the first time, Wallace, I'll tell you later, but this is the first time that I had this many, that the doctor gave me this many milligrams. You know, you know how they got the 10s and they got the 5s?
Mm-hmm.
I got 11.50, you know, and I'm like, it's because I'm hurt, you know. I'm really
Manuel,
hurt.
I got to
know.
tell you, one thing you don't want to do, and I really mean this, is you don't want to mix alcohol with Norco.
Narco.
You know, you breathe normally. Like we're sitting here, I'm talking to you, you're talking. My producer, Lee Michaels, and we're also with Lee Michaels, and you know we're at the studio in Culver City. This is the Power Voices studio. This is Mondays with Wallace. I am Wallace. We're here today with Manuel Gray. We're here today with Stephen Cotton from SC Edibles. One thing back to what we were saying, Stephen, thank you for being here again. One thing we were saying about breathing. When you breathe, you're breathing normally. Are you thinking about breathing?
No, you don't think to breathe.
Are you thinking?
Yeah.
So you breathe very normally. What happens when you drink, let's say Norco or a hydrocodone, and I'm led to believe that you have maybe the 10 milligrams, which is the higher dosing. And if you're drinking alcohol, and what was the liquor that you had mentioned?
211.
211. You had mentioned the 211. What happens is your ability to breathe, spontaneous breathing, it actually is inhibited, so it stops. So, you know, you risk death.
Yeah, that's true. That's
so you
true.
risk death. So I do not want you taking your 211 and drinking that along with Norco. I don't know if you get that same effect with marijuana.
No. You can smoke and drink together hand in
but
hand.
I tell you, like,
is that right? You can actually
half
drink
a can of 16, half a can of 211 and a half a Narco, man, you're good to go. You know, but you can't overexceed that amount. You know, because it will start impairing your breathing ability.
Yeah, but
and that's the God's truth.
Where's the line? How do you know a half? And you know, you're saying
you know to break the pill. You know to break the pill in half and just drink a half a can.
Yeah, well, I think you're really putting yourself at risk by doing that.
I know it. I know.
You have to really be cautious.
But you know, it is what it is. You know, it's just like people that do heroin and then they do cocaine and they speedball. You know, that's John Belushi died from that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what happens. Are you? Do you remember the girl Karen Quinlan?
Whitney Houston died from that. You know, so you can't really pinpoint, you know, what effect that it has on one person or the other, because everybody doesn't have the tolerance. You know, you can get somebody that drinks hard liquor and they can't handle it. Like me, I can't handle hard liquor. That's out of the questionnaire. No vodka, no nothing. Mm-hmm. No hard liquor for me.
Yeah,
no.
Well, I'm not much
Beer
of a.
Is cool.
Although I can drink. I'm like cognac. Do you like cognac? Have you ever drank cognac?
No.
Stephen, have you ever drank cognac?
Oh yeah, I can do a little cognac. I'm more of a tequila guy.
Thank you.
Don't you actually with marijuana?
Yeah, I don't really particularly like it.
Can't you smoke? Can't you dip the marijuana in cognac before you smoke it?
Absolutely. There's wrappers that you can go buy in the store, and they're already dipped in cognac.
Is that
some people love that taste so much?
My man knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the God's truth.
Those cognac wraps, man. People love that. People just like you drink
Is
your
it actually
drinks.
Alcohol?
Yes, it's dipped in actual alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of leaves. There's lots of tobacco leaves that are dipped in cognac. It's a little too strong for me. I can't take it.
Oh, is that
You gotta
right?
really
but see,
like cognac.
So
You gotta love
they-
that
they-
taste.
what is the
they-
net
they-
result? Do you get higher when you do cognac?
I think
or-
you get a little cognac buzz from it too. Not
Mm-hmm.
a major one,
Yeah,
but you
they
can
got-
taste it. It puts that palate on your mouth,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives you a little buzz.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Is this something you can perform with when you're? Are you able to perform manual on your guitar when you're smoking?
I can, but I don't choose to.
I see. Well, that's good.
Let me ask you this:
That's
Do
not-
you like to
that's
use drugs when you
something
perform?
that makes me confident when I get on my guitar.
When you
know,
perform, do you like to use drugs?
Huh?
When you perform, when you have a big performance, do you like to use drugs in order to calm you down and put you in your zone, or do you like to
No,
perform sober?
just a can of beer.
Can of beer, 211, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well,
I don't prefer any drugs when I'm
yeah.
when I'm putting myself on the line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because then it has a reflection on what you're doing. You know, I don't. I'm going to tell you guys the God's truth, man. I used to when I was 15, 16 years old, like 1967. I used to take LSD and get on stage.
Now LSD is a stimulant, I believe, and
It
you were
is.
actually tripping, or when you did do LSD?
No, I was just playing my behind off.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So
Like-
LSD, but I always thought
That's
LSD
when you
was
like bright lights and all the loud music and bright lights and neon lights, right?
Yeah, big time.
So I
Yeah.
hear that when people on LSD, they go to these raves and there's a whole bunch of bright neon lights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear
Yeah.
people go to them all the time, man.
Is that
Yeah,
And then but that's still today.
It used to.
today?
It
It's
used
still
to-
common to see the raves, I believe. Is that
Oh
correct?
yeah, big time, man. I hear people go out and they camp for weekends and there's nothing but
Well-
bright lights and drugs, man.
It used to expand my mind.
The LSD
You
one?
know. Yeah, I would be playing things that I thought about, but I was actually doing it. You know,
How
and
do
I
you
would-
find
I would-
you're able to move away from LSD? And I hear these things that I'm thinking are drugs of addiction, LSD, Norco, and you seem fine. So how do you find that you are getting away from these? How do you find that
Well,
you're
it's
able to
like
go to
the
work and be
old-
functional? Because you sound like you're
the old-
functional.
Well, Wallace, the older that I get, the more my body is wearing down, and I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. No.
So you find that it's just utter exhaustion where you've moved away from.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, you guys, that it takes my breath away, and it just does. It's like, just talking about it, and I was in so much pain, you guys. I just got out the emergency room, and it's like, man, they gave me 11.50 narco.
I see. Well, that's a bit
And
much.
it's like, man, I can't mess with no more.
Yeah. You don't want to. You certainly don't want to
Yeah.
take too much, and I get worried because I'm wondering if maybe that's where you're at. This is
No,
Mondays
I'm
with
okay.
Wallace, and today
I'm-
we're talking
I'm
about
okay.
sex. We're talking about
I'm okay.
sex. We're talking about roofies. We're talking about the failures and the values of marijuana here. Are we saying, Stephen, that there's value to marijuana in sex?
Absolutely. It's a double high. That's
It's
what we
a
came
double
to
high.
a conclusion at today. Marijuana and sex is a double high. You get a nice little buzz from your weed,
Pretty
and you get
much.
an even better buzz from your spouse.
Stephen Cotton is always where I get my information. Stephen has just fantastic. It's just a fantastic a source for information. And if you were to use marijuana, you would suggest the sativa, or you would suggest the
I'm an indica guy, man. I like the strong stuff.
because the indica's stronger.
you know what?
and-
It's
No,
a head high. It's a head
no,
high,
no.
and it gives you a good appetite.
Uh-huh.
I love to eat. I'm a foodie.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. So, and
But
if you
narco shuts me off. It shuts me off.
You don't get
It
an
makes me
appetite
go
from that.
home and watch a movie, and then I don't want to drink no more. I don't want nothing. I like the feeling so much. I don't even want to drink anymore unless it's a light beer. something like a King Cobra or something.
I don't know if you guys have followed the news lately, but pharmacists can actually refuse to fill prescriptions. Absolutely. And pharmacists have lately refused to fill a prescription for a drug that would terminate pregnancy. And pharmacists actually would have refused to fill a prescription for, like legal pharmacists, for a patient that was transgender.
Amen. Brother,
if a pharmacist, if I were as a pharmacist were listening and you were telling me you were wanting to use this drug so you can watch a movie and chill, I don't think I'd like that so much.
That's what I do when I do it. That's not why I do it.
No, he said he was in an accident and he's in severe pain, so that's why he's subscribed.
Big time,
he's on
guys.
And they become addictive. Do you find yourself addictive? Because a lot of people I know on narcos, they have a real addictive personality. They got to have that pill.
Yeah, I am addicted. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
I would really be a real jerk to lie to you guys.
That's good. I'm glad. The first step is just you admit it. And then you got to help start taking care of it. You could try to ease back on the narcos and try to do a little more edibles or a little more exercise. Exercise is a good way to relieve pain too.
Yeah, that's true. That's what my doctor said.
Yeah.
Are you one to exercise, Daniel?
From the emergency, you guys. So, they told me to go home and stay out of the heat.
Yeah.
And I would be okay.
Yeah.
Actually.
I was so concerned about us losing Craig, and I know Craig was a good friend of yours, Craig Turner, Tina Turner's son.
What am I missing?
I hope you're okay. Suicide is such a thing that's just so unpredictable. Is that something with Craig Turner you would have predicted?
Well, thank you. With Craig, it was total depression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was it something that you saw coming?
Him
killing his dog.
Yeah, I saw it coming, but he didn't want to talk to nobody. He refused to even be around anybody. Women, but there's another thing that I don't want to discuss, but his preference was not women.
Why are you apprehensive about discussing women? I'm just curious.
Well, because he wasn't into women anymore. He was more geared into guys.
Well, that's okay. I don't want to. We're not actually. So
we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, not that, because I don't want to put his preference on display. But hey, I don't knock anybody, for their preference. I don't. I just don't.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I don't knock anybody.
Yeah, so
I really don't.
So I think I think the general feeling is cannabis has some value to marijuana.
Yeah, that's true.
Cannabis has some value to sex. I'm sorry, not marijuana.
That's true, because marijuana used to stimulate Craig.
Oh, so Craig smoked marijuana?
Yeah.
I think that kind of goes in line with. I'm wondering if cannabis is a contributing factor to suicide. Are you saying no?
No. Craig was depressed behind the fact that he was a stone cold-blooded alcoholic. And when he couldn't drink no more, it was hard for him to overcome it, man. And I'm telling you the God's truth. I want this to be known to anybody that hears this right now. Craig was like addicted to Grey Goose vodka, and when he found out he couldn't drink it anymore, man.
Well, we don't want to say, I don't want to disclose information about.
It's the God's truth. He couldn't cope. And I'm telling the God's truth. For anybody that hears it, it was hard for him to cope with not drinking.
Manuel, I got to tell you, and I really mean this. I'm concerned about you. Should I be concerned about you? Manuel? I guess I should be concerned about him.
You still there with us, man?
He dropped? Okay, well.
Yes, Well, we're glad you called in today.
Yeah, I guess I asked
We're
the
glad
wrong
that we
question
were
at the
able to
wrong-
be here so you can have somebody to talk to. A lot of time people get so depressed, they get in such a funk, and they hold it inside. So we're glad that we were here to talk to you today, Manuel, and make sure you guys have somebody you can talk to.
We're going to follow up with Manuel. And anyone that's listening, reach out to friends, reach out to people. Suicide is such a it's something that's lately it's something that's really caught, I think, America by storm. I don't know if it's just more prevalent or is it just
It's happening more and more. It's a
uh-huh.
lot more common.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think it's just the overall
I think it's
negativity in society?
the stress. Look at Donald Trump, man. We got a crazy guy at the head of the helm right now.
Donald Trump's really
And I think it
problematic.
trickles down, man. Everybody's stressed out. Rent's high. Prices are high. Gas prices are high. Everything's going up. Everything's sky high. And the pressure gets on people, and they hold it all inside, and they just don't know how to face these problems. You got to talk to somebody, take it one problem at a time.
Yeah. When you look at rents in California, particularly LA, I think there's so much homelessness. I wish people could really be around my particular area just to see the amount of homelessness near Venice. If you go to Venice Beach, the homelessness is just as amazing.
It is.
And one thing about being
Take a look
homeless,
at downtown LA. Skid Row is real down there.
yeah,
The
Skid
tents
Row
are
is
lined up down there. I worked in downtown LA every day, and people are still lined up in tents.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing and sad.
one thing. The rents are so high, and my feeling is people that are homeless, like if you were homeless and I were homeless, I think the feeling is that somehow you failed in society, and really that's not the case.
No,
Because it's
things
just
happen
rents.
up and down. Doesn't
Do-
mean
do-
you
do
failed
you
in
see
society.
rents-
That means a couple of things went bad for you, and you got to get back and find a new plan and attack it a different way. What you were doing in the past isn't working today. You need to change what you're doing and give it another try. You can't get so hard on yourself, though. Everybody goes through it.
It's thought that 17% of our homeless population actually have college degrees.
That is
It's
amazing.
thought. It really is amazing. This is Mondays with Wallace. I am Wallace Peoples. As you all know, I'm a board certified pharmacist. We talk every Mondays about marijuana and cannabis and some of the related issues. You can get us at Mondays with Wallace on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We are on SoundCloud. And we are available any day, every day to any of our listeners. This is Mondays with Wallace. I am Wallace. Stephen Cotton, thanks for being here.
Thanks again, man. I'll see you soon.
Thanks for being with us on LA Flight 420 out of Los Angeles.